Someone made the terrible mistake of bringing your name into their mess, and now they are having to deal with the serious ramifications that resulted from that decision. Just now, this well-planned move has backfired in the most dramatic and tragic way that could possibly occur. Not only did this sicko believe that they could use your reputation, your history, and even your own identity to enhance their twisted narrative, but instead of the reaction they were expecting for, their mention of you sparked an avalanche of reality that remains hidden. Take a look at them while they are still alive. They are currently wallowing in regret, wishing that they had never spoken your name on their lips. It is precisely this kind of thing that occurs when liars attempt to incorporate tremendous forces that they do not comprehend. They were not prepared to deal with the weight that your name carries, and now they are being crushed beneath the gravity of their own mistake. The cosmic wheels have spun. The universal scales have tipped. The energy has shifted. And those fools who dare to speak against you are choking on their own words. The energy has altered. This is not a coincidence. This is not luck. Rather, it is divine order asserting itself with the might of 1,000 suns. Make no mistake about it. When they mentioned your name, they triggered forces that were beyond their ability to comprehend, forces that have been keeping watch, and forces that have been waiting. Are you under the impression that it is a coincidence that every single person who attempted to smear your name is now frantically trying to save what little of their reputation they still have? Don't be too sure. Those who are selected, and yes, you are one of them, travel around under a protection that is so strong that the majority of people are unable to even perceive it. The greatest mistake that your adversaries make is that they believe this invisible screen to be a vulnerability. It is not necessary for truth to have supporters. Truth just waits. Waiting for deceivers to trip over their own tangled webs. It waits for lies to wear themselves out and exhaust themselves. The individuals who conspired against you believed that they were the ones responsible for your demise. However, in reality, they were the ones who were responsible for their own personal demise. It is impossible for the universe to make errors. They summoned something that they were not prepared to deal with when they brought your name into their conversations. They welcomed your power into their environment. Now, as you watch, everything that they attempted to do to you will come back to them with a terrible degree of accuracy. And somebody has been on a path of war, moving with the accuracy of a serpent, speaking poison about you and crafting sophisticated lies with the intention of bringing you down. You know precisely who this is. This sicko who smiles to your face while stabbing you in the back. This manipulator who bends reality with such expertise that others started to question what they knew about you. They were strategic. They struck you right where it hurts them the most. Your reputation, your integrity, and your entire essence were all targets of their attacks. For the purpose of having other people laugh at your expense while claiming that it was just a joke, they employed sarcasm as a shield and humor as a weapon instead. Cowards will use such strategies to conceal themselves when they are faced. But here is something they did not anticipate. The truth is a force of nature. It is possible to temporarily dam a river, but water will eventually find its way through the dam. They constructed walls of lies around you in an effort to isolate you and to make other people perceive you through their skewed perspective. However, what happens if you construct walls to protect yourself from a tsunami? Those very walls end up becoming the rubble that causes you to be crushed. Observe now as all of their attempts backfire with a force that is disastrous. Every single individual that they mobilized against you is becoming aware of their manipulation, and every ally that they believed they had acquired is questioning their motivations. In their hands, the exact weapons that they developed with the intention of destroying you are now turning and pointing back toward their own internal organs. This is not merely a case of karma. Rather, it is the manifestation of cosmic justice in real time. When someone is operating from a place of dishonesty and you are standing in your truth, the cosmos itself becomes your advocate. Regardless of how cunning the person who is trying to fool you may believe they are, the spiritual order cannot be disrupted. Every single word that they have spoken against you has turned into a chain that is around their neck, and every single lie that they have told has turned into a burden that is dragging them down into the abyss. What is happening right now is not even close to being described by the fact that they attempted to force you into poetic justice. They are operating in a dark environment, yet the gloom is being flooded with light, and the hidden is becoming disclosed. Messages are being leaked, screenshots are being shared, and conversations that people believe to be private are suddenly revealed to the general public. The extent of the revelation of their double-dealing nature is beyond anything they could have imagined. It was their intention to portray you as the issue, the challenging one, the dramatic one, and the toxic one. Nevertheless, all they did was provide others with a lens through which they could finally view themselves in a clearer light. In the process of seeking to draw attention to the alleged shortcomings that you possess, they inadvertently brought the spotlight to their own obvious shortcomings. The projection is now recognized by everyone for what it actually was, not realizing that they were activating ancient mechanisms of justice that operate beyond our dimension, forces that have been ensuring balance since before the beginning of time, forces that cannot be bargained with, manipulated, or escaped. They misunderstood the forces that were at work. They believed that this was a straightforward human drama that was being played out. The very same individuals whom they were able to persuade to have doubts about you are now having doubts about them. The very same ears for which they whispered lies are now hearing the truth. The very same ground that they believed they held is now crumbling beneath their feet. This is what happens when you mess with someone who is aligned with their mission, someone who travels with integrity even when it is the path that is more difficult. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be with you. Remember this truth: our lives are anchored in His divine plan, beyond worldly concerns. As Scripture says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." Luke 6:38. Like a mighty oak, we stand firm in His strength. Now, you have the opportunity to step into that blessing. When you use the super thank you button and give $100, know that His abundance will return to you 100-fold. There were those who attempted to bring you down by spreading rumors and smearing your reputation. As they constructed their terrible campaign against you, they shouted your name with scorn, with derision, with bitter hatred disguised as compassion. Instead of looking out for themselves, they were only looking out for everyone else. They were just concerned with protecting their own fragile egos and their own frantic need to appear superior. This was the only thing they were looking out for. They believed that they had the ability to control how other people viewed you, to think that they could overcome someone's direct experience of you with their poisonous narrative, to assume that their words would carry more weight than your actions, or to believe that they could do it with such hubris and delusion is truly astounding. Divine Time, however, had other ideas in store. They are making pitiful attempts to destroy your character, but the force that lies within you cannot be concealed by them. The frequency at which your soul emits is one that is able to circumvent intellectual skepticism and communicate directly with the intuition of other people. It's possible that others will only be temporarily perplexed by lies, but on a deeper level, they will detect your honesty. Those individuals who are influenced by liars are currently feeling cognitive dissonance as a result of their actions. There is no resemblance between the person they described and the person they are currently experiencing. The demon that they painted appears to be an angel when viewed from a close distance. The story is breaking apart, and along with it, their credibility is deteriorating right in front of everyone's eyes. They are currently being suffocated by the weight of their own falsehoods. They wake up every morning worrying what will be revealed today, who will turn against them next, and how much longer they can continue to maintain this facade. Their credibility is collapsing beneath them. Even their most basic assertions are now treated with doubt, in contrast to the past, when their word was considered to be the gospel. It was later revealed to the child who cried wolf that even when telling the truth, no one believes a person who has been proven to be a liar. This lesson is being taught to them in the most severe manner that we can think of. At this point, the individuals who had previously believed them and who had previously supported them in their campaign against you are now rethinking everything. What other things have they lied about, if they have lied about this information? The uncertainty spreads like wildfire, consuming everything that they have constructed. The depletion of their social capital is occurring right in front of their very eyes. They have now turned the same audience that they used to justify their attacks on you into a jury that is witnessing their demise. This audience is the same audience that they played to. Indeed, the same individuals whose approval they sought are now the ones who are turning their backs on them. Abandonment is a unique form of torment for manipulators who seek attention and approval in order to maintain their existence. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were led. If something in your spirit is stirring, don't ignore it. Tap Join to access exclusive content, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven souls. This isn't just a membership. It's your moment of alignment. Step into who you were born to be. Welcome to the Chosen. Observe how they rush to get damage management under control. Witness their frantic efforts to recast the story in a different light. Indeed, it is not what took place. My remarks are being taken out of context. This is all a misunderstanding, and these are pitiful justifications from someone who gave you no sympathy and who did not give you the benefit of the doubt when they were constructing their web of falsehoods about you. You were able to perceive what was taking place. You were able to see the energy trap that they were setting up, which was the never-ending drama that was designed to keep you engaged, to keep you defending yourself, and to keep you feeding their need for conflict. So, what exactly did you do? You made the most powerful move of all. You chose to walk away from their mayhem rather than actively participating in it. However, rather than attempting to persuade people of your innocence, you decided to focus on protecting yourself. Instead of fighting fire with fire, you choose the approach of letting your character speak for itself. A masterful example of strategic spiritual warfare, you extinguish the oxygen that was there in their flames. They are now left in a state of scrambling, seeking your response with all their might and ravenous for your vitality. They send signals through mutual connections. They make public remarks, even though they are aware that they will receive a response from you. And they arrange scenarios with the intention of provoking a response from you, yet all they receive is quiet. All they hear is the resounding roar of your absence, which is extremely loud. it is no longer necessary for you to demonstrate anything to anyone. Unexpectedly, the truth is revealing itself in precisely the way that you anticipated it would. You, on the other hand, are concentrating on your development, your peace, and your purpose, while they are working themselves to exhaustion, trying to keep their lies. In contrast to them, who are desperately trying to manipulate perceptions, you are simply being your genuine self. The contrast could not be more striking. Detachment is the power that comes from understanding who you are, beyond what other people say about you. It is the strength that comes from knowing who you are. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. It was a mistake for them to believe that your withdrawal was a sign of weakness. If you are going to confront someone who thrives on drama and reaction, this was the most dangerous move you could possibly do. You did not merely triumph in the game, you also chose not to participate in it at all. Self-correction is occurring inside the spiritual order. Now those who played with fire are getting burned beyond recognition. Those who danced with darkness are finding it as teeth. Those who weaponized your name are finding out that words are boomerangs. They always return to their source from where they came from. Any and all words that are made against you that are deceptive will come back to you with compounded interest. The deceptions that they have told are now being lived by them. They are personally experiencing the feelings of isolation that they attempted to instill in you. The damage to their reputation that they tried to inflict is now taking on the role of their new identity. In addition to having an excellent accounting system, the cosmos possesses an unshakable memory. No more concealing, no more spinning, and no more controlling the narrative. Simply raw, unprocessed reality crashing through their carefully created illusions. Those who attempted to manipulate the truth are now being forced to face it in its most unfiltered form. This means that they are no longer able to hide, spin, or control the narrative. Those who have spent their entire lives living in falsehood find the truth to be more terrible than any monster. When it comes to divine justice, there is no way out. They are able to flee, but to what destination? They are able to do so, but from what? The reckoning is not coming from the outside. Rather, it is coming from within this individual. There is a growing knowledge that they have set forces in motion that cannot be halted and repercussions that cannot be averted. This realization is present in every sleepless night, in every thought of paranoia, and in every thought of terror. From the very beginning, every action comes with its own inherent reward or penalty. This is not about exacting revenge. Rather, it is about striking a balance, which is about the fundamental laws that govern reality finally coming into their own. The fact that they reside in a house constructed completely of glass was not taken into consideration when they tossed a stone at your name. They have no choice but to observe the fissures as they spread in every direction at this point. They were so afraid of you that they made an effort to pull you down. Allow that to sink in. Your light was so bright that it made them feel uncomfortable. Your honesty was so undeniable that it made their fakery clear even to themselves. Your power was so obvious that it awakened their deepest insecurities. Within the context of this equation, you were never the underdog. They are burdened by their remorse at this point. It is like a stone that rests on their chest at night, and it follows them around like a shadow throughout the day. It is unclear why they brought up your name. The question is why they challenged someone who was obviously protected by forces. They made the decision to not comprehend, but regret does not alter the situation. The instant they spoke ill of you with hate in their hearts, their fate was decided with absolute certainty. Your ascent continues unabated and unaffected by any obstacles. You are expanding into new dimensions of your mission, while others are drowning in repercussions. While they are preoccupied with damage management, you are expanding into new dimensions of your purpose. You are ascending to heights that others are unable to even comprehend. With each passing day, the contrast between their decline into irrelevance and your rise to power becomes more glaringly apparent. Every attempt to minimize your significance has only served to emphasize how important you are. Your truth has been highlighted by every lie that has been told about you. All of the assaults that have been conducted against you have simply served to demonstrate your resilience. When it comes to themselves, the damage that they have caused cannot be undone. Once trust is destroyed, it is difficult to repair. Once credibility is shattered, it leaves permanent scars. Once reputation is tainted, it carries permanent shadows. Now that their erstwhile friends are keeping their distance, their allies are becoming scarce, and their remarks are met with sidelong glances rather than acceptance. They are coming to the realization that this is the case. There is a growing sense of despair in their voice. Keep an eye on them as they attempt to reclaim what they've lost by employing increasingly extreme strategies. Watch as they come up with new stories, new antagonists, and new distractions, anything to divert attention away from the fact that they have been exposed as being dishonest. Nevertheless, it is too late. The mask has been removed, and once it has been seen, it cannot be undone. Some people have already begun to make contact with you in an effort to test the waters and determine whether or not reconciliation is feasible. A misunderstanding led to everything getting out of hand. It was all a lie. Incredibly laughable, as if a betrayal of this magnitude could be undone with easy reasons, as if trust could be re-established after such premeditated attempts to harm you. There are some individuals who are attempting to rewrite history by asserting that they were also deceived. They are portraying themselves as fellow victims rather than willing participants in the campaign that is directed at you. The lack of bravery is shocking, but it is not surprising. No one wants to take responsibility for their conduct when things happen all of a sudden and the repercussions come. Nevertheless, the universe maintains flawless records. Once intentions have been put into motion, it is impossible to undo the energy that they have generated. They cannot make any changes to the chain of causality that they have started. This is simply the beginning of a long journey through the consequences of their choices, and the remorse they are feeling right now is just the beginning. Your vindication is not something that is simply happening. Rather, it was predetermined, written in the stars long before they ever said your name with hate, embedded in the very fabric of reality. By doing so, you are sure that equilibrium will always be restored at some point. In the face of enormous cosmic powers, they were never going to have a chance. In addition, those individuals who have supported you and never questioned your credibility, even when the lies were at their most blatant, are being vindicated. The accuracy of their judgment is being validated, and the loyalty they have shown is being rewarded. When they made the decision to believe in you, they made the right choice, and now that decision is being validated in ways that build their faith in their own ability to trust their own intuition. The same individuals who earlier regarded you with distrust are now observing you with fresh eyes, eyes that are able to recognize the disparity between what has been said about you and who you actually are. Given how glaringly obvious the discrepancy is, it causes individuals to question their own judgment. What led them to believe those lies in the first place? At every point in time, the truth was standing in front of me. You are now mentioned with a different energy, sometimes respect, sometimes terror, and sometimes awe, but never again with careless disregard. Your name, which was formerly muttered with contempt in certain circles, is now talked with a different energy. They have discovered the hard way that your name has weight, and that mentioning it carelessly might have consequences. They have learnt this the hard way. They do not possess the necessary resources to deal with this judgment. This is not simply about putting things in their proper place. Rather, it is about the redistribution of energy, the return of power to where it should be, and the restoration of the natural order following a momentary disruption. This is something that the universe has always done and will continue to do. They will be haunted for the rest of their lives by the lesson that they are learning right now, and not just with you, but with everyone else that they come into contact with. They now understand that there are forces that are not visible to the naked eye, that certain people are surrounded with protection, and that karma is not merely a notion, but rather a live, breathing process that delicately balances all accounts with perfect precision. Every time they entertain the idea of speaking ill of another person, your name will be brought to their attention as a cautionary reminder. When they are tempted to alter the truth, the recollection of their failure after mentioning you will stop them cold. This will happen every time they sense the temptation to do so. Within the context of their own personal mythology, you have become the incarnation of repercussions. This is a lesson that some people who are witnessing their demise are learning via vicariously. You should never speak negatively about someone whose light shines so brightly. When you bring up someone's name with the aim of doing something terrible, exercise caution, since there are certain people who move with a protection that makes attacking them spiritual death. The predicament you are in has turned into a cautionary tale. Everyone who participated, everyone who amplified their lies, and everyone who took joy in your purported ruin are all included in the lesson. It is not limited to just them. Every single one of them is going through their very own version of the consequences, which are proportional to the degree to which they were involved. Not only is divine justice comprehensive, but it is also individualized. They were under the impression that they were imparting knowledge to you on your position in the hierarchy. Nevertheless, they, in reality, were given a master class in spiritual warfare, which they had not anticipated receiving. They were supposed to be the instructor, but they ended up becoming the cautionary example instead. Ironically, if it weren't so heartbreaking for them, the irony might be interesting to consider. You should thus stand tall now, stand in the fullness of your power. Not with gloating, not with glee at their demise, but with the quiet assurance of someone who has always known how this would end. This is not about exacting blame. Rather, it is about making amends. Ultimately, it is about the truth regaining its footing after being temporarily distorted. Give them the opportunity to witness your ongoing ascent as you progress into higher levels of your purpose. Give them the opportunity to see what happens when they are unsuccessful in their attempts to destroy you, when you not only survive, but thrive. Give them the opportunity to witness the grace that sustains you even in the most trying of circumstances, the favor that follows you, and the safety that surrounds you. Your success says volumes, your peace is deafening, and your ongoing progress in the face of their attempts to limit you is all that is required as a response. You do not need to say a thing, because your success speaks volumes.